Well, hello, my darling. How are you doing today? I have missed you so much. And I got some really cool things to tell you about, okay? So, I don't know if any of you are out there are struggling with what's going on in the world, with people, with how you're feeling, just about yourself getting reconnected. So, I'm wondering if you've ever wondered about what the heck's going on inside of me. Have you ever felt that way? I do all the time. And really, it was about until I discovered this miracle personality assessment that I've talked about, and I will continue to talk about for the rest of my life because it actually saved my life. And once I discovered what my true core motivation, or really what my true element was, right? We all talk about being in our element. I was sick up until that point. And once I found out who I really was inside, what really made me tick, then my whole life changed. And I'm telling you, it saved my life. So, hey, I'm so glad you can make it. Today, I'm thrilled to show you how astonishingly easy it can be to dig deep into your personality and to get to know yourself better and really find out who the essence of you is, right? So, are you ready to get on a journey of self discovery, knowing yourself better, figuring out what makes you tick? Well, my darling, fasten your seatbelt because we're about to embark on an exploration of your internal strengths, the things that make you special, the things it's time to do what we do in business called a SWOT analysis. Things to work on. They used to call it weaknesses. I like to call it work on, opportunities and threats. And really, how are we going to do that? I want to introduce you into my world of the fascinating universe of the color code. And why do you even care about this? Well, I've been working with people for, almost 30 years, helping them dream, live their best life, figure out what they want, set goals for themselves that wake them up and get them excited every morning, and generally help them to get rid of the shame, the blame, all the junk that gets in the way of our mindset and about helping us move forward and go for what we want in our lives. And I've been blessed to do this. I do this with organizations. I do this with individuals. I do this with entrepreneurs. And today I'm so excited to be doing this with you. Okay. So let me not waste your time anymore. You may be wondering, what is the color code and how can it help me? So let's start here. The color code is, for me, a life-changing way of looking at myself and looking at other people. It's a communication tool that will help you connect with people in ways that you never thought were possible before. Have you ever done that? Wondered, like, what the hell are they thinking? What's going on with them? You're communicating with them in your best ability, and yet for whatever reason, it ain't connecting. It isn't happening, and you can't understand each other. Well, it's really about knowing what people's core motivation is. Okay, that's what this assessment is about. What makes you tick at a fundamental level? And I know you've taken other personality assessments. If you've on this self journey, you've taken a lot. But really what's different about this one is really about who you were as a child. Who are you at your core being? A lot of the other assessments, I'm certified in about 7 of them. And what I love about this one, it's really about your fight or flight. It's about that 8-year-old inside of you that constantly, every single day, rears up. Right? When somebody cuts you off traffic, do you get scared and maybe pull over, slow down and go, oh my gosh, I could have been killed? Or do you get and want to run that guy off the road, chase him down the road, whatever, right? That's a big determinant of what motivates you and helps you get to what you want in your life, but also what helps keep you safe, how you choose your friends, how you choose your jobs. It's really important to know what motivates you. And that's why this assessment is so important to me, because a lot of the others, they focus on this point in time, which really with my split personality could be anything. And that gives me insight into me in this moment, which is great. But really when I can make those connections about me over the long term, but then also be able to make connections with other people and be able to, as I say, we talk about sales, we talk about helping. I really talk about influencing, and I really believe it is gotten a bad rap because we hear influencers about, oh, the pretty ones, the whatever one, you know what I mean, that are making us do things that we normally wouldn't do that aren't good for us. I'm talking about the influence where you're helping people do the things that are going to help them evolve into that next magical version of themselves. And so that's what this assessment is about. It's not just about, the superficial, oh, isn't that nice? I feel that way today. Oh, great. I don't know. I change every day. This is really about your fight or flight and that 8-year-old inside of you. That thing, that person, that voice that you can't shut up sometimes, even though perhaps people have tried to shut it up for you over time. It's time to listen carefully, my friends, and let that sound resonate. So what is this color code? Designed based on all the old psychologists back when psychology started. So if you've taken something like this, people will say to me, well, Zan, I've done this before. I've done tons of these. Well, I hope you do a ton more. The fact is all of these assessments are really based on a lot of the same psychology. And psychologists, as they incorporate this work into their philosophies, their theories about things, they will put their own spin on it. And so this particular assessment was done by Dr. Taylor Hartman. And he's an amazing person. Oh, and I forgot to say, Stacia, he's in Hawaii, so I might have to come for a visit and see you, my wonderful coworker. But what is this about? He knows there's these motivations, and really, he broke them down into 4. And you've got Myers-Briggs, there's 16. You've got others that are 8 and 7 and 12. What he found was that there really was 4 key core motivators, which helped people get up, which helped them go through their life and how they responded to life. So what he did is he wanted to make it easy for us to remember them. So he just color coded them, and he called them red, blue, white, and yellow. And each one of these corresponds to a specific set of characteristics that shape your personality and your behavior. So, for example, are you a passionate visionary, a go-getter, a natural leader? Then you might resonate with the fire elements of red, which is all about power and dynamism, moving things from A to B. All right? Does that resonate with you? Or perhaps you're a compassionate caregiver, forming deep connections with others like the soothing waters of blue. Intimacy and empathy are your strengths. But again, if you're like, no, those I'm a red or blue, I'm just going to tell you one thing quickly as we did. Red and blue are the 2 that are closest on the color code. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper here. So don't judge yourself just yet. Let me give you a little bit more input into that. Or maybe you value tranquility, patience, harmony above all else. And really, you're an introverted heart, which really makes you akin and enjoy. If you were to maybe look at an element out in the world, you might say it's the gentle fall of white snow, bringing peace wherever you go, right? Silent, gentle. You never hear that snow fall. Or maybe you're like me and your infectious joy and spontaneity take control and just generally suck the life out of every room I go into in the best way possible. Then maybe you're a yellow personality, buoyant and fun like a helium balloon. I don't know. Can you tell what I am today? Trying to let you in on that, right? But throughout this journey, I promise you, you're going to understand your element, your color, what motivates you, but you're also going to learn how to harness its power and navigate challenges, make better connections with people, find that person you love, find that job you love, start that business that lights you up, get involved in a volunteer group. Like, I'm serious. This, knowing that I'm a yellow blue, because we're all a blend, right, has really helped me to deepen my connections, the way I speak and connect with my clients, even spending my time doing this. Realistically, I could be working my butt off in my office doing something else. But knowing that I'm a yellow and that I'm an unfulfilled actor, this is where I need to be, because I'm also a blue and I'm a helper. Okay. And that's the other part of me that wants to do. So I'm all over the place right now, but I want to give you a little bit deeper. Let's go into a deeper dive of each one of the colors so that this makes a little bit more sense to you. And for some of you, you've already heard about the color code. You've heard me speak about it. Normally, I just do this in workshops where I get hired. The nature of my work, I'm a facilitator. So I'll get hired by a community, an organization, and I will just go do the color code for them. I've only actually done this one open call to do the color code before. But already, if this is something that's interesting for you, I just want to let you know all of my one-on-one coaching clients go through this process. They do the color code right off the bat. That's where we start, and it really forms the basis of our coaching relationship. So before I start and delve into any deeper into any of these, I just wanted to let you know that if you want to jump in, I haven't done a lot of one-on-one coaching because my plate has been so full with consulting and the one-on-one clients I do have. I have a very small amount because I really do pour into them deeply. But I have a little bit of time on my hands, and I feel like I've been holding out on some of you that have been asking, Zan, when are you going to open up spaces? I have a wait list. So what I've decided to do is I'm so passionate about the color code and I'm so passionate about coaching that I want to make you a little offer right now before I get started. So I'm opening up what I call my one-on-one color code game plan sessions. So what is this? You're going to get access to the color code. You're going to do the assessment. It's an online assessment. You get this amazing 40 to 50 page, very intense results report based on your particular findings, all the things about you and the blend, because you're going to have different scores in it, and it's going to show you the blend, how your blend shows up with all four of the colors, right? Because generally, most people have a little bit of all four. Some of you will have three or two, and you're pretty unique unicorns, but come see the workshop and I can help you figure that out or work with me one-on-one. So what does this mean? You're going to get access to the assessment, your personalized report, and a 2-hour session with me that will assist you in mapping out your game plan to achieve any of your business or individual life goals. And knowing the information from the color code, I promise you, it is going to blow your mind. And please let me know if any of my clients who've done it, feel free to comment in the comments below, because we'll probably be putting some of our testimonial statements, because it is, even people that have just come to the workshop have went, holy smokes, I cannot believe this. I actually had one lady who was in her 60s say to me, Zan, I've been planning my funeral for the past 5 years. And everyone looked at her thinking she was dying. And I said, what do you mean by that? She goes, I basically thought once I hit 50 that it was my time to start to retire, to wind my life down. She said every single person, a piece of jewelry, furniture, equipment, anything she owns of value, her children have already taken a piece of masking tape, written their name on, and stuck it to every one of her belongings. I'm so sad and scared for her. So I said to her now, after doing some goal setting and getting her refocused, I said, what are you doing now? She goes, I am ripping all of those masking tape names off and I am living, babe. I am starting. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Holla! Oh my gosh, that just gives me goosebumps. I get so excited. Baby, I'm going to be touching out with you because we're going on a trip soon. So stay tuned. I'll be reaching out. I hope you're listening. You have inspired me beyond belief, darling. So that's what's coming up. So drop me if this is something you want to know about. Click on the link below. And also, if you'd like to inquire about any local events that are coming up, honey, things are starting to happen here. So I move really fast. I think faster than I talk, and I plan faster than I think. So if you want to stay in the loop, make sure that you get onto my mailing list. I promise we don't inundate you with a bunch of junk. I focus on what is going to be most important to you to take you to that next level in your life, that next evolution. Okay. So drop me a message. Let me know somehow, reach out to me. And again, for those of you that aren't quite sure, I'm going to jump ahead of it, and I know I'm going to say it later, but for some of you, if you've already shut down and you've said, I'm not ready for this, Zan, one-on-one coaching isn't for me. I don't deserve it. I'm not the person. You are the person. You do deserve it, and this is for you. But if you're not sure, I also have some 20-minute discovery calls where you can chat with me, if you don't already know me, to discuss what can I do for you? How can we work together? What magic can we create in your life? I promise you, darling, You are not going to regret it. It is going to be the best. Even if you don't do anything else with that, it's going to be the best 20 minutes you've spent. But I promise you, you spend 20 minutes with me, you're going to want to spend the rest of your life with me. Huh? Ask my husband. So let's get down to business here. I want to let you know, I'm going to do a little bit of a brief summary of each one of the colors. So that first element, that first fiery red element, really, you're the blazing dynamo, my friend. That is your mission in life. The core motivation of red is moving things from A to B. So reds, and for each one of these, there's going to be healthy behaviors and unhealthy behaviors, right? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about both. So, because people go, oh, I'm red or I'm yellow. Oh. No, honey, we need all of the colors of the rainbow if we want to make this world what it's supposed to be. And it's the same within yourself. Even if you are a red, it is up to you to make sure that you, when you are dealing with blues and yellows and whites, that you are digging deep to make sure that you are communicating with them in the way into their core motivation that's going to help them hear you and be influenced to do the things that are right for them and the things that are going to help you on your journey. Okay. So it isn't just about this is what I am. It's really about being able to adjust and to lean into who you're with. That's what relationships are about. Okay. So red is the color code. The element associated with it would be fire, of course. And the core motivation is power. Fire can both create and destroy. Right? Even the forest fires where I live right now in British Columbia, it's scary and it's horrible. My husband's a forester. It is terrible, but at the same time, there are certain trees, cones, I'm not going to mess it up because I am not an arborist or whatever they call them, that it takes an intense heat, fire, for the cone to open up, for it to be able to drop its seeds into the ground to start new trees. Isn't that amazing? So fire both creates and destroys. Right? And when we are red, when we are driven by power, it can be a double-edged sword. So on the positive side, reds can be assertive, proactive, and productive. They are visionaries and leaders who blaze trails and make things happen. Why? Because they're logical and they want to be in charge. So that's what we kind of measure this on is two things. Do you want to be in charge? Do you want to follow? Are you logical or are you emotional? All right. Reds, you are logical and you want to be in charge. You want to be the boss, right? So you really need to manage that with a delicate hand because it can be. You've heard when I tell people in workshops, they say, what do you think of when you hear red or power? It's amazing how many people say bully, unkind, mean. They don't see the wonderful of it. Why? Because that's sometimes what can happen. If you don't have your emotional intelligence in check, you can let that burn that red in you, that fire burn everybody up and everything around you to the ground. All right. So we need the reds. The reds help us figure out where to go, what to do, and to get there in the shortest amount of time possible in the most efficient way possible. So I need you to turn up your red. That's what it's about. This isn't about being, oh, I wish I was red. It's not that at all. You get to be whoever you want to be because this is a tool for you to do that. Next, what do we got here? Oh my goodness. Are you about relationships? Do you connect with people? Do you want to make the world a better place, right? Are you a bit of a perfectionist? Well, then you might be a blue. And really, what's the core motivation of blue is about intimacy, not bow, chicka, wow, wow, intimacy, connection, relationships, really making a difference with people, right? Helping people. And the element that I really feel connects with this is water. And again, like fire, water can be just as equally powerful and destructive. We need it to help the world work, but it can also destroy community if it floods. So it's super important, right? Water is the deep current. Those are my blues. You are deep soul sisters and brothers out there feeling, my soul family out there, all of my soul people. Right? It's with blue, those of you resonating with blue are like water. It's a source of life and connection. All right. What do my blues excel at? They excel at creating deep, meaningful relationships. And their empathy and devotion make them excellent caregivers and friends. But as I said, just like oceans and seas can be rough and tumultuous, blues can sometimes become overly emotional, susceptible to feeling guilt and anxiety, right? So you really need to learn how to navigate your deep waters while avoiding the whirlpools that can pull you under and quite often pull other people under. And I refer a lot to drama llamas, people that try to control us with their emotions. And blues and reds, those are a lot of times my champion drama llamas because they want so much to fulfill their purpose in life. That's the thing. People go, I'm not a red. No, red and blue are the two closest on the color code. Okay. They're the most alike. Why? Because they both want to be in charge. Remember what I said? Blue is emotional, but they also want to be in charge like red. So this is what can happen between the two of them if they don't really have a strong emotional intelligence, but all strong communication between the two of them. So if you're in a relationship, think about that. All right. You really want to make sure that you're not allowing your blueness to overwhelm the world, or your redness or your whiteness or your yellowness, right? It's really about balance. So think about peace. Do you like people leaving you alone? Do you like just letting the world pass you by sometimes and you just watching it, observing it? Are you introverted? Do you want to just kind of stay out of the fray when people are having a big tussle and they all want you to take a side and you're like, I'm out of here. I'm just going to go sit over here by myself. If so, my friend, you may be a white. And what's your core motivation? Your core motivation is peace. Internal and external, right? Not just about for everyone else, but for you too. And what I like to liken this, the element is to snow. They are often easygoing, patient, and act as mediators in heated situations, but people will expect them to take a side. And that's really why they're not helping with that. Whites with their internal, they are logical. So they're great at solving problems, but they also don't want to be in charge. So they don't really want to be a part of your business. So, but they're great scientists. They're great at being in the middle and just being able to give you space to talk. That's why I love whites, my favorite, or one that I've learned to understand. What they're great about, like I said, easygoing, patient, act as mediators in heated situations. However, they can be, because they are so peaceful and they don't ever want to take a side, they don't ever want to get involved, that often the world will just pass them by because they're waiting for information. They're waiting for more information to be able to make the right decision. And often they're hesitant. So their hesitancy will really become like a snowdrift that will block them from doing the things they want. One of my clients was really struggling in life and had some really severe mental health issues, or so they thought. Well, once we talked and they realized they were a white and they were like, nobody listens to me, blah, blah, blah. And I explained to them, oh, honey, the other three colors, we're blabbermouths. Whites, if you want to be heard, you need to speak up. You need to make the rest of us listen. You can't wait for us. And it's unfortunate that we are such blabbermouths. I'm sorry, whites, but it's just the way she goes. All right. But really, you need to discover how to use your peaceful nature to create harmony without becoming lost in this snowstorm of people and emotion and all that other kind of stuff, right? But also realizing it's time. We need your medicine in the world, white, because I think whites generally, they keep to themselves. Their attitude is, you didn't ask me, it's okay. And that's because they're not bossy. But we need you. Give us your 2 cents. And then finally, yes, okay, I dressed up for you guys so you could all see what was going on with me today. So what's happening, my yellow fellas? What is this yellow about? Our core motivation is fun. And really, our element is helium, like a buoyant balloon floating around the world, bringing joy. Who doesn't love a balloon? Well, I know the birds don't now when we're doing the mass releases, but you know what I'm talking about. Most people, you get excited. Little kids get excited. I get excited still when I see a helium-filled balloon. All right. And just like the way helium rises, yellows bring lightness to everything. Okay. Yellow personalities are driven by fun. They are charismatic. Well, I should say they can be, right? Because we've got healthy and unhealthy for all of these colors. Or if you've been undergone trauma, right, where you weren't allowed to be who you want to be. That's the other thing. And those are stuff we're going to talk about when you come and work with me one-on-one in this, because there's so much things that are in our way, so much shadow that is stopping us from running to what we want. And it's like quicksand, right? Or it's like a snowbank that's holding us down. So it really is about being your best, because I was that way for a long time, just letting my yellowness take control of me and not doing the things I needed to do. And now I am. So they can be charismatic, spontaneous, and bring a joyful energy to all of their interactions. I get asked to do way too many funeral things, and I say no all the time, but I'm able to talk about things that other people find really uncomfortable and painful. And I don't believe it's like healing. Everyone thinks healing has to be painful and miserable. And I don't believe so. I believe that we heal with laughter, and I believe that we can bring joy even to our healing process, right? However, our desire to keep things light and airy can sometimes come across as irresponsible, non-committal, shallow. I used to be called, I remember a first group when I sat on a National Indigenous Youth Council for the National Association of Friendship Centers. I remember I'd never not really gotten along or not really been accepted. And I had the rest of my council were very kind of coolish to me, and I wasn't quite sure why. So then once I got in with everybody, I didn't even notice it. And probably a year or two later, and one of my friends, our coordinator, Sharon, said, "Oh my God, everyone thought you were a fake BIT. They didn't believe you were real. They couldn't believe that this is the way you were real." And I said, "Really? I'd never known that anyone thought I was fake or that this wasn't my legitimate state." And I said, "Well, what changed your mind?" And she goes, "Well, do you remember that day we went to Parliament Hill?" And I do. We were going to make a presentation to ministers and all that. We were like 22 or so dumb. She goes, "And do you remember that homeless guy across the street that was yelling, 'F you, Zandra, F you'?" I don't know how he knew my name. I don't know how, but and all of a sudden he came up to me and he was like, "Aha, Pat." He must have heard them say my name. And I gave him a hug. He was funny. He was like, "Sorry, girl, bugging you." And we hugged each other. Then we went to Parliament Hill, and she said, "You hugged the minister and you treated the minister exactly like you did the homeless guy, the unhomed person, sorry." And I went, "Really?" I go, "Well, they are the same to me. If anything, the minister works for me and Joe. So why is he more special?" But that's what yellow brings to the world, is this kind of status blind a lot of times. Is just, do you want to have fun? I want to have fun. So it's really important for you to learn to balance this joyous spirit without floating away from earth. I always joke, my husband will say, "What do you want?" And I go, "I want to go to the moon." And he'll go, "Ugh." And then that used to cause fights. And he'd say, "What do you want me to say?" And I'd go, "Maybe we will one day." Right? That's what yellows are about. They're really about the potential the dreams that are out there for people. So it's really important to balance all of these colors and all of these elements. If we had too many of any of the elements in the world would be really out of balance. And that's what, if you believe in climate change or not, or whatever, there are crazy things going on. And we see what happens when we have natural disasters. And natural disasters oftentimes occur because there is an imbalance in another part of the ecosystem. Right? Too hot, too cold, too much pollution, not it, right? You need to see this. We need to balance this force within each and every one of us so that we can be who we need to be, that we can navigate the ebbs and flows of your elemental personality. And even more importantly, and that's the big part of this, that you can interact with everybody else out in the world. Whether you're in sales, whether you're trying to find the partner of your life, whether you're trying to help your child or friend through a bad situation, whether you are involved in a volunteer group and you want to be the president of the board, you want to go buy a car and you want to get the best deal possible. You want to meet new friends, but you want to make sure they're not drama llamas. That's why the color code is so important, and for you to understand it. I went blind. I woke up blind. I guess it's been about 10 or 12 years ago. 20% chance I have multiple sclerosis. And I was very sick and unhealthy at the time everywhere. I just felt crappy about myself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And I tell you, I took this assessment. Oh, thank you so much for sending me this, my friend. It's just really is amazing. A friend sent it to me new, and she said, "I don't believe in this stuff, but you need to take this." And I promise you, this is the tool that I go back to time and time again. Every person that I work with, every organization, I make them do this assessment because it really has changed my life, being able to understand my core drivers, my core motivators, and the complexity of how they all mix together, and to really learn how to maximize my strengths while balancing and supporting my challenges. And also, and by doing this, learning to turn up my red, because that's the one I struggle. White and red are my struggles. Blue and yellow are easy for me. I'm emotional, double emotional. So that's red and blue. We're both led by emotion versus logic. Part of me is bossy and part of me is not bossy. So I struggle. I have constantly this internal fight within myself of, I want to do these great things, but why aren't I doing them? Right? I'm sure you do. Do you have that feeling? I want to do this thing. Why aren't I doing it? Well, a lot of times it's that internal struggle. And if you can learn to manage that and harness that power, it's going to change your life, because then you can begin to really embrace the full spectrum of your entire colorful personality. I get goosebumps. It's my favorite topic, and I got to dress in my favorite color today. So actually, it's my favorite personality color. But really, I mentioned it before. I have limited number of free 20-minute coaching sessions. Okay. So if you want to talk and see if coaching's for you, I've got limited slots available just because my consulting business is so crazy. I've got some retreats happening out in the world. I've got workshops going on, and I will be hosting a workshop here shortly in Prince George. So if you're interested in attending anything, make sure you get on my mailing list. But like I said, I've only got a handful of these free 20-minute coaching sessions. This isn't to try to hard sell you into anything. This is to see if my skill set matches with your need set. All right. Because if you want to take that next evolution, if you want to take that next step to who you want to be, it's time. If you want to stop putting off tomorrow, that's what I call it. I live today. Every day is today now. What am I doing today to make tomorrow the best day ever? All right. So come and see me. There's a link in my thing, but it's really go.zandraross.com/strategy. There's going to be a link down in the messages here. So please go click it. I'm only taking a handful of them because I really don't have a ton of time. That's the free one. If you want to see if coaching, if retreats, if working with Zan's even a thing for you, come and check it. But then over there, I've also got, if you're ready to go, we also have a color code coaching package that is ready for you as well. So if you're ready to sign up, go see it, my friend, because we will have a link below as well, where we're going to get you just to sign up. If you think, yeah, Zan, I want to do this 2-hour color code game plan session with you, get your butt over there, because I'm only doing a limited number of them. I'm telling you, it's my busy season is coming up, but I want to make sure I'm serving my organizations as well as my individuals. And I've kind of lost track of my individuals because I've been so busy. All right. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Stay young, stay motivated, and keep chasing your dreams. We'll see you next time. Also, don't forget to come and join. If you're on Facebook, you can come and hang out with a bunch of other amazing game changers in the leadership strategies for ambitious professionals.